Hey everybody, welcome to my new shop. Today I'm going to be getting rid of this wood wall paneling and putting up some French cleats. A French cleat wall storage system allows you to move things around and not have to have everything set in stone, so it's perfect for a new shop. It even allows you to hang things that are fairly heavy, like large cabinets. I'm starting off by removing this wall paneling and replacing it with 3/4 inch plywood. This will give me a sturdy surface to hang the cleats from. While I do that, let's go over what a French cleat is. The use of the phrase French cleat stems from a technique used by French sailors to attach items to the hulls of their ships. It consists of two boards cut at a 45-degree angle, one that you attach to the wall and the other to whatever you want to hang. The weight of the hanging object pulls the cleat down, and the angle of the cleat redirects the weight into the wall. This provides a lot of holding power, but it also means that you can just lift the object and move it to another spot. So now that I have all the wall paneling removed, I've noticed that there are very few anchors holding these joists to the wall. So I'm going to put on some Tapcon anchors to make sure that it's secure enough to hold up anything that I'm going to store on the wall. This was after trying to drill one hole. I don't know what I'm doing wrong.
Help!
Concrete hardens over time, so an old foundation can be particularly difficult to drill through if you don't have the right tools. I highly recommend an SRS drill or rotary hammer for this task. I transferred the position of the outlet's top left corner to the sheet of plywood. Starting in this position, I used the dimensions of the outlet box to outline the area that I needed to cut out. Alright, so my measurement was off, but only by a little bit, and there should be enough wire slack to make up for that. Alright, cool. Alright, so you can see it's a little bit darker in here. Cut the power to this wall, and that means that my lights also are not working. I don't have a proper power tester, so what I'm going to do is take this light and plug it into the socket here. You can see it does not turn on. This is not best practice, but I'm also not an electrician. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove the screws for this socket and then pry this board off. And then we're going to attach it to the new board. You should probably get yourself a real outlet tester so you don't cook yourself or burn your house down. If you don't feel comfortable working with electrical, play it safe and hire a licensed electrician. I drilled pilot holes and used a countersink bit for each screw hole. You can probably skip this step unless you're using cheap hardware. In case you were wondering, I tested out the paint color on the right sheet of plywood before making this video. It's just a regular sheet of plywood. I filled in all the screw holes and seams with regular wood putty and let it dry for 24 hours. Always remember to wear a ventilator. I couldn't see how dusty this room was while I was standing in it. Three coats of paint later, the wall is ready. Now it's time to make some cleats. I started out by cutting this 3/4 inch plywood into 5 1/8 inch slices. Each of these will give me two 2.5 inch cleats and 1/8 of an inch to account for the width of my table saw blade. If you're using a circular saw, foam sheet insulation makes a great cutting surface. I tried using sawhorses, but ended up going back to the insulation. You would think that cutting these cleats would be as simple as setting your fence to 5 inches and setting the blade to a 45-degree angle. With the contractor saw I was using though, the blade isn't centered when you adjust the angle. This took me about a dozen tries to get the spacing right, so try this on a piece of scrap wood first. I also came to realize that a proper plywood blade and a feather board would make this process faster, cleaner, and safer. Since my table saw has non-standard T-slots, I ended up drilling a few holes in the deck to bolt the feather board in place. I drilled pilot holes and countersinks in each cleat before sanding and finishing them. I also used a block plane to take the pointy edge off of each cleat. This makes them less sharp, more durable, and leaves a small gap for the sawdust that will inevitably end up collecting on them. I finished both sides of the cleats with shellac to protect them from wear and tear, as well as the moisture in my basement workshop. I waited a full day to make sure the shellac was fully cured before attaching the cleats to the wall. Installing the screws in advance makes it a lot easier if you are doing this by yourself. One less thing that you need to hold on to. I highly recommend cutting out a couple of spacers to hold the cleats in place while you're attaching them. The cleats need to have spacing that is slightly larger than the width of the cleats themselves. Mine are spaced 3.5 inches apart. I'm really happy with how this came out. If you enjoyed this video, it would mean a lot to me if you would like and subscribe. Also, check out my Instagram at RickDIY to see all of the tool holders I've made for this wall, along with a bunch of my other projects. Thanks for watching to the end of the video. I read all of my comments, so let me know if you have any questions or suggestions.